Hi, thanks again for joining me on another episode of MTV, Monsta TV. Today we are talking about how to decorate with all white. Alrighty, let's go into the all whitey. So here we are. We've had people telling us before that sometimes when they go and aim to make a room that's all white and really use white colours, that they tend to feel like it's a little bit stressful, hard to relax, not as comfortable as a room with colours. That's not necessarily true. And there are ways around that to impact a room using all whites and getting the best out of it and creating something that's especially for you. White does evoke a purity, it gives you a nice cleanliness, and you can use that really well with other things to impact and have a room that gives you something that looks very, very sharp and timeless in many ways. So some people say they can't do the all white look. After these few tips, I reckon you might give it a go. So start with a white room as a blank slate, and as you may recall, some of those interior designers we spoke to last year did talk about using whites in rooms as a blank canvas like an artist would, and that's how they start. So they would go with your basic ceiling white and go with various whites depending on what the room is, with sharp whites or warmer whites, but that's what they start with, and then they can add from that. A lot of people and a lot of tips from designers is that get a bit more creative, particularly with rooms where you've got windows, using the white in your room as a backdrop to then maximise what the look is that you've got out of those windows. Whether you're fortunate enough to have an ocean view, you might have a mountain or a landscape view, or you may even have a city view. Using the appearance that you're getting through that window and that feel that you're creating, going with whites in the room, then using smart furnishings through rugs or couches or whatever you might have in the room. It could be your bed upholstery. Using that sort of accessory items to work with the appearance you want. And so you're using that white wall, white ceiling to give you that backdrop, so as an appearance of a canvas. And that's where designers have really come to market and sharing that knowledge about how they start with using whites as the blank canvas, like an artist, to start from there. The piece I actually find that's the real trend setting now with a lot of designers is how they're using whites with metals. And these are becoming very popular in places like kitchens and bathrooms, particularly kitchens. A lot of trends in the market now where whites or neutrals are being paired up with various metals, whether it be stainless steel, brass, silverware, a lot of aluminium, anodized aluminiums. And if you really want to go bling bling, you've got the gold. And so if you've or a gold looking piece of metal. But they really can have a great timeless blend with whites and the metals that you're looking for, because you've got the reflectance of metals, particularly if they're a shiny type metal, and they pair really well with a crispy white. So, you know, things like your kitchen appliances that you've got, or there may be things in the bathroom that you have that can really make it change the room. And a lot of people tend to go with wood sometimes when they're going with whites, but using metals now seems to be a more timeless and a more modern type look, because it does give you that futuristic appearance. So look at that. It's a great way to match in the whites with metals. Don't shy away from your white upholstery either. I know a lot of you that, like me, if you've got children, did have a white couch once, and it was a disaster for the fact that kids on it all the time and it's getting thrashed. But white upholstery really does impact the room. Now, if you've got white upholstery or you're going with white couches or ottomans in the room, they can give it a nice fresh look. You want to blend that in with the right type of white paint you've got on the walls. However, if you're concerned about how you protect the white upholstery, remember that we do have our naked fabric and textile and fabric sealer, and if you haven't seen that, check that out on our website. How you apply that onto fabrics and it will stop the staining. It's a great way to enable a white room or a white upholstery to lift a room, and using those whites, and it really creates a sharp look when you've got a nice white couch with a great sharp white painted wall, or even and the ceiling to match that if you're going with that rounded look. So that's another one to look at with how you can use whites and really create a white wow factor in a room. So artwork gets to take centre stage too when you're going with a white look, when you're going with that wow white room and you're going with all white. So when you've got a working white in the room, you get a chance to really showcase something special, whether it be sculpture, a nice painting, even some great photos or images of family that you might want to use because you've got great framing to go with that. Sometimes people go with really elegant type framing or something that looks quite trendy or modern, and if it's too busy in the rooms with different colours on the walls, you really lose the impact of that framing or that effect you've got, and which is a chance to extend your personality for many of us. With whites on the room, that allows all those sorts of features to be uplifted and really be a focal point. So if you love artwork and sculptural pieces, as I mentioned, don't go and start colouring with feature coloured walls in your room. Check the whites out, give it a lot of thought, because that is going to enable that artwork to take centre stage and really be the feature of that room. Choosing the best shades of white. This is an important one as well, because we all have decor in the room, and whether you've got carpets, timber flooring, ceramic tiles, vinyl, whatever it might be, there are literally thousands of whites, variations of white on the market. We've mentioned this before. We have over 20,000 whites that we can match through our Monsta Match service, where you can get any branded white or neutral, and we match it for you, guaranteed exact colour, and send it out. Or we have our Monsta 20 white, and the reason we come up with our Monsta 20 is because 96% of paints that are bought in Australia are a derivative of white or a neutral, and about 6% are the common ones used out of those whites, out of that 96%. And our Monsta 20 make up that 6%, which is the more common ones. So if you'd like, we do have the free colour cards on that, or we have the Monsta Match service, but you get to choose the white for the tone that you're looking for in the room. And so we always offer our sample pots that you can take away and paint them out. You would have seen some of the Monsta stories before where customers have used those, painted out about a metre on their walls, or different areas where the sun comes in, or different shades of light to see the impact of the type of white. Choose that right tone of white, because that will make a big difference whether you're going with a warmer white, a cooler white, or a neutral with where you want to go and the type of room you have. But there are so many whites out in the market. Don't discount that if you can't find them in our 20. If you've got a white that you've used previously or found it from another brand, let us know. We'll help you and deliver it directly to you. This is the final one that I'm going to give you about whites, which is the one I like the most. I've had this before with renovations, and it's using whites to hide blemishes. And that happens a lot, particularly with renovations. If you've got an older home, white sometimes can work like a bit of an eraser. And so if you've got a situation where you've had either some architectural work done, where you've got either a bit of a mishap, or you've got exposed mechanical ducts, or you've got something that's a bit unsightly and it's very difficult in the highest spot to remove in different shades, sometimes with coloured walls, you'll actually find they highlight those blemishes. Whites are a really good opportunity to hide those, or not make them as noticeable, so a bit more discreet. And also the different type of paint you have, so whether you're going with a matte, a low sheen, or a semi-gloss. In those situations, if it is a reno, particularly if it's on older brickwork, the matte is the best way to hide those blemishes. Low sheen you can get away with, avoid the glossy ones because they are going to really highlight those blemishes on a wall. But particularly in older homes, if that is the case for you, consider that, because if you are repainting a room and you've got something you've seen on there, even if you want to check out some of our, as I said, sample pots, apply them over those blemishes, you'll see that that will actually hide it, and it'll be a lot less discreet than what it would with the colour. Now, I need to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to Monsta MTV. Get more of it on our YouTube channel. Subscribe below, please. We'd love to see more of you taking part in the discussions with us. You've got our Facebook page as well, and don't forget Instagram. Lots of great images there of customers that have shot photos of their works with our paints, and also some of the inspirations that we've seen out in the marketplace that we're bringing your way. Until next time, all white, all right.